I always finish my podcast with the term like, you got this. No matter what it is, you got this, or you were made for this.
MomTalks with Christa is now a podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher app, and Google Play. Today's review of the week comes from Arpita Mukerjee. MomTalks with Christa are great. They are real, relevant, and always present updated information. It's been so helpful in my momming journey. We'll recommend this to all moms, especially new moms. Thanks for the awesome review. Remember, we're reading a new review every single week. Thanks for tuning into this episode of MomTalks with Christa. This is part 2 of my interview with Kubat. She's a mom of 2, group fitness instructor, motivational speaker, and host of her own podcast, Become Your Vision. If you missed part 1, I highly recommend you go back and watch that one first. But today, on part 2, here's what we got for you.
And then do you kind of notice, like, now that you're kind of like in the thick of it with this new journey of yours, that it kind of plays into your mindset as well? Because, like, you kind of like, do you feel like stronger, or do you kind of feel like you're kind of motivating yourself in a new way almost?
Yeah, motivating myself. And I've realized through this and telling my stories, like how much I continue to need it, and provide like a circle for me, like a net that I have people to fall back onto and bounce ideas off of, and continue like to read books and things like that, because I'm like, I want to continue to add value, and I want to continue to get other people's perspectives and realize, like, my thing right now is like what I'm dealing with personally is I'm always, like I said, I'm always kind of like worrying or focusing on that next step. How can I be better? How can I grow? And then I kind of lose of like, well, you've already achieved a lot, that I am always comparing myself to where I want to be. So reminding myself in reading books of people that have succeeded in their failures and the same kind of like mindset that they went through has become so important to me. Like, I'm continuing to search, because then every day I'm like, okay, you are right where you need to be. You are right where you need to be. Each day, try to move that needle a little bit forward, and you're good. You know, you're not going to accomplish everything in one day. It's just not possible.
That was awesome, because what you just said was like a mini motivation in itself. And I feel like the moms watching could hear that and be like, all right, I'm getting somewhere. Just move some, like if they're feeling overwhelmed, or if they're feeling like they didn't feel like do enough in a day, just like making small like tasks or whatever in a day is going to help. So it's cool, because I can kind of see, like, in the way that you're speaking, you're just like, I feel like you naturally, motivate, and it's cool. It's cool to see.
Thank you.
Tell me about planning your first vision event. I know you had your first big speaking event. How was planning that, and how was that first event for you?
Planning it, I kind of took it on like, it was actually more stressful than planning my wedding. Just because I was like, well, everybody is going to be like solely focused on me. I had the groom before, and there'd be dancing and things like that. And then I wanted it to feel like you were at a beautiful conference, and then I had to realize, okay, I can't do this for my first event, of like balloons and flowers, because that is super, super expensive. So I had to think about, okay, first and foremost, like starting to sell tickets, like when I wanted to start selling tickets. And I think I started selling, I don't know, maybe about 2 months prior. And then I realized for the second event is like a month prior. I only had a month. So I had to figure out how I was going to sell tickets, what company I wanted to go through. I had to create like a budget of what is realistic, what was like, I cannot have this event without these things, trying to think of like everything that possibly could go wrong. Like, let's say if there's technology, or let's say if like I had a major panic attack or something, because those thoughts like ran through my head, and I had to think of like, okay, what if those things happen? What's your plan B? And so like every to-do list had a plan B for it. So kind of creating that and thinking of it as kind of like a wedding. The number of people are going to be there. How how long are people going to be sitting? Can they sit for the entire time? No. Okay, let's have breakout groups where we can create this connection where it's not awkward, where it's funny, where people can tell stories and things like that. So planning all the group activities and things like that. Yeah.
And so I know you just recently launched a podcast. So can you tell us a little bit about it, what it's for, what is the podcast, and everything else?
So it's called Become Your Vision. So all my events and meetups it's vision. And then the podcast, I thought like this name will tell the listeners what exactly it is. Like if you don't know me, so becoming your vision, but it's become your vision. But, so it is for anybody that is looking to enhance themselves and better themselves. I talk about exercise tips, nutrition tips, that mindset shift. It is for people too that are like feeling lonely, feeling down, again, like wanting to enhance their lives. They are seekers, they are learners, they are constantly looking for ways to improve their life. And how you listen. So there's multiple ways. And I think a lot of people don't know, like when they hear a podcast, you're like, wait, you think of YouTube and things like that, but it's a format that you just listen to. So I'm on iTunes. So if you search Become Your Vision, you can find it. You can also search by my name, Lauren Kubat, Lauren Kubat, Kubat. It's on Spotify. So that's a free app. A lot of people listen to music for free on Spotify, Google Podcasts. And then there's like this little widget on your phone. If you're an Apple user, there's like this, I'll actually show you because I have it here. But I showed a couple people at the gym. They're like, oh, wait, I didn't even know I had this on my phone because it's a stock app. But it's just this purple, like little widget, and you hit that. And then you search, I'm like you're probably like, I didn't know you were gonna do all this. You search Become Your Vision, and then it's there. And then episodes come out every single Wednesday, and you get to hear from me. I try to keep it real. You're gonna hear ums. I'm not like a stage speaker. I try to bring the realness and humor.
We kind of talked about this before, but so what other like last tips do you have or advice for moms that are kind of in the thick of it right now, going through the motions that could use some motivation?
First and foremost, it's not selfish to have your own thing. I think a lot of moms are like, I don't have time, and I have all these other things going on. It's like, but if you aren't happy, your kids are going to see that, and you aren't going to be happy. You're going to be moody. You're going to be really short. You're going to be snippy. And it's important for them to see like, oh, mom has her own thing. Like she's teaching me that I can step into great things too, because she's doing things. Like my friend, I just want to share a quick story. My friend, she has 5 kids. 5 kids, okay? 4 of them are in school, private school. So she's, they're in sports, they're in everything else. And she started off as a personal training client as mine. And in the past year, she started her own like refurbishing like furniture. It was a hobby, and she's like, well, how can I turn this around and make money? Because she had neighbors asking about her things, and she's like, well, why don't I do it? Her business is becoming so lucrative, and she can pay for her kids' private school. So I think of her when people are like, well, I don't have time or whatever else. It's like, make the time, figure out what is important to you. And again, it's not selfish to have your own thing, and you matter too.
So one final question. So I always like to end my interviews, and I don't think I was doing these at the time I interviewed you last. If I was, correct me if I'm wrong, but we could always have a new answer. But
Yeah.
So I like to end these with fun thinking questions, I call them. And if you could have a billboard made today where you could share one tip with moms everywhere, what would you have it say?
Oh man. You got this. That I always finish my podcast with the term like, you got this. No matter what it is, you got this, or you were made for this. Those are two that I really love because it's simple, it's quick, it can be applied to everything. And we're all in this together. There's no perfect mom. Your kids need you. They were given to you. Because you were the perfect mom for them.
All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Definitely check out Lauren Kubat's podcast, Become Your Vision. All her links are below. It's awesome. She offers tons of inspiration and motivation for women and moms everywhere. So thank you, Lauren, for coming on the show. It was awesome having you back on. If you found this or any episode of MomTalks with Christa helpful, please leave a review. Your support means the world to me. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of MomTalks with Christa. If you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and click on the subscribe button. It should be down here somewhere. We release new episodes every single Wednesday. And if you're not following us yet, be sure to follow us at Mommy Knows Best on Instagram. And remember, if you're watching this and doubting yourself, you are a great mom. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next week.